Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. This is a pre-tape show tonight. So a lot of the things that I say tonight will be live news coverage of what's going on C-SPAN with the House of Representatives right now. So breaking news, guys, breaking news. Let's show the first slide. So it says, so at Real Donald Trump, he wrote, looks like the House is ready to vote tonight. We had great conversations all day, and the Republican House majority is united for the good of our country, delivering the biggest tax cuts in history and massive growth. Let's go, Republicans and everyone else, make America great again. And let's go to the second slide of breaking news. At Real Donald Trump, he literally eviscerated Congressman from Maryland, Jamie Raskin of CD8, an anti-Jew Jew, hashtag not my Jew, hashtag never a Jew, hashtag not a true Jew. Representative Jamie Raskin, a third-rate Democrat politician, has no idea what is in our fantastic tax cut bill, nor would he understand if he did. This dope has been consistently losing to me for years, and I love watching his ugly face as he is forced to consistently concede defeat to Trump. And tonight should be another of those nights. Raskin is a bad politician and a total loser. And I've called for AIPAC to primary him out because he needs to get out of the House of Representatives. And the second and the third breaking news, the third slide. This one's the most important. Eric Daughtry, he wrote on Twitter or X, breaking, President Trump says the House is ready to vote on the big, beautiful bill tonight. So here we are in real time going to see if the big, beautiful bill will pass. The House of Representatives spent at least 6 to 7 hours voting on an amended resolution by a congressman from North Carolina. It finally passed through 220 to 212. Finally, all Republicans voted to advance the one big beautiful bill. Now it goes to a final vote. We're seeing that, unfortunately, 4 people voted against the advancement of the bill to go to President Trump for him to sign it. So now the Republicans have to go back into negotiation to see if we can get at least one of those Republicans to vote yes, because the Republicans can only afford to lose 3 here. And of course, you have the ultimate grandstander, Congressman from Kentucky, Thomas Massie. He's going to vote every single time. So we have to make sure that the other congressmen, they vote the right way. They vote yes. There was about 10 congressmen today that were still a little skeptical of the bill. They feel that there is too much spending that is in the bill. A lot of people concerned that the debt is going to go up significantly. But we have to look at the crux of what's in this bill. This bill is an extension of the Trump tax cuts. When President Trump passed the first tax cuts in 2017, I can tell you the majority of the American people, they thrived under the Trump tax cuts. It was originally written by my friends Stephen Moore and Larry Kudlow. They wrote this together with President Trump to help we the people. This bill helped the middle class. It helped the working man and women, the forgotten man and women that President Trump campaigned for in 2015 and 2016. What this bill does, it's an extension of those Trump tax cuts, helping more working class families, helping the forgotten man and the forgotten woman, helping the middle class, also helping small business owners such as myself, my family, and others. It has helped tremendous amount of people. This bill will help tremendous amounts of people, especially people with families. This bill will also help single mothers as well that are struggling. This bill will help farmers. This bill will help people that are in big business as well, that were struggling a little bit, and they're trying to get back to what they call their new normal way of life, their new normal way of making money. Also, this bill significantly makes our country safe. The bill includes massive amounts of help to produce more Border Patrol agents, more DHS help, and also to increase ICE and ICE agents, and to help Borders Czar Thomas Homan. Again, we had 21 million illegals pour in under the Biden-Kamala Harris administration. Borders Czar Thomas Homan and Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary, doing everything they can to remove all of those illegal criminals out of our country. But we can't do that if we don't have the help. So what this bill does is it incorporates more help, more resources for our law enforcement so they can go in and do their job. Also, it makes America safe again, which is what we want. It also removes fentanyl, removes the drug cartels out of our country. It also negates and stops the sex traffickers, the human traffickers, the child traffickers from our country. Again, that's why this bill is important. Also, this bill will facilitate more money so that President Trump can continue building his border wall. Also, this bill helps to give more resources to the military. Also, this bill helps we the people thrive, especially our students, with reading, writing, and arithmetic. So they're not learning gender identity and CRT curriculum, and no more DEI. DEI is dead. Also, this bill helps our veterans. President Trump is looking into helping VA hospitals. He's working to help VA facilities, assisted livings, helping our seniors. He also campaigned on no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That is in this bill. Also, people were concerned because the parliamentarian, she really screwed up the voting the other day in the Senate. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to remove the $1.4 million that illegals get for Medicaid. What this bill does, and Senator Eric Schmidt confirmed it, as well as others confirmed it, that they, at the final vote, at the final revision, they were able to remove the $1.4 million away from these illegals who have Medicaid. Illegals should not be having health care in this country. They are illegals, and illegals should not be having health care over legal citizens of this country. As I've said before, I'm in the healthcare profession, the insurance profession. I sell healthcare to legal citizens of our country on a daily basis. I would never in my right mind sell healthcare to illegals. Never. It's about we the people. It's always about we the people. That's why it's very important that this bill gets passed, that it goes to President Trump's desk, and that he signs it. The goal, again, is to get this passed before 4th of July, before Independence Day, so we have a beautiful Independence Day. Because if not, Congress is going to go into summer recess, and it's just going to be prolonged. It's going to go from August to September to October to November to December. The tax cuts, remember, they end in December of 2025. That's why it's very important that we get this bill passed. And I wholeheartedly believe and feel that this will help we the people. I know a lot of hardcore conservatives, a lot of right-wing conservatives are concerned about some of the pork that was thrown into this bill at the last minute. Unfortunately, you can't get a perfect bill. But this bill is very important for President Trump to get his agenda across the aisle. In 2017, he worked so hard to get the tax cuts pushed for we the people. It was very important that he did this. That's why he's pushing it so hard that we get this bill passed for we the people. So enough of the grandstanding, enough of people trying to hurt we the people, American citizens that have been hurting under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It's time to get us back on track. It's time for we the people to thrive. And now we go into segment one. Segment one, all aboard the detention center train. So President Trump had a wonderful visit with my governor from Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis. He went down to Florida and he saw the first facility for illegal criminals. It's called Alligator Alcatraz. Let's put up the first slide. So Governor Ron DeSantis with President Trump, he said, don't let Florida be the only state. We've got very red states that should be doing this. And President Trump replied, we have Louisiana and Alabama, red states, not too many blue states. And I say, why aren't the blue states doing this? The blue states, again, are going against President Trump's executive orders by continuing to allow illegal criminals into their states and into their cities, killing innocent American lives, such as Kate Steinle, Jocelyn, Rachel Morin, Lincoln Riley, and so forth. Why wouldn't this be a bipartisan thing? I applaud the Republican states that are pushing for Alcatrazes in all of their states, but why does it just have to be red Republican states? Why can't it be all the states? Why does Democratic states want to keep their states unsafe? President Trump is a law and order president. And constituents should not put up with this. The constituents should vote any governor out, any mayor out, anybody out that doesn't want to keep your city or your state safe. It's just asinine to me. But I thank Governor Ron DeSantis for putting this together. He put it together in 6 days with Kristi Noem. He put it together very quickly. And Governor DeSantis said, if anybody tries to escape, there's an alligator waiting for you, just ready to eat you up. It's not so easy to escape. President Trump also reiterated the other day that he's going to redo and remodel Alcatraz out in California. Again, it's in the middle of an island. You try to escape, you try to jump off that cliff, you'll be welcomed by sharks that will eat you alive. And Alcatraz was very brutal back in the day. They did not take any prisoners. They made you suffer. It was not a vacation. And President Trump wants to let these illegals know. And not just illegals, but actually he wants Alcatraz for American criminals. Maybe even the activist judges. Maybe some of these congressmen and women, like the congressmen and women of New Jersey that combated DHS and ICE. Maybe put them in Alcatraz. Maybe put Dr. Fauci in Alcatraz. Maybe put Alejandro Mayorkas in Alcatraz. Also, Thomas Homan said that there's a federal investigation against Congresswoman AOC for teaching illegal criminals how to defeat ICE. And she actually hired a lot of illegal criminals into her administration and paid them and took money from them, which is illegal. It's crazy. It's crazy. But again, people ask, who's going to pay for it? Is it going to be we the people that are going to pay for it? Second slide. Governor DeSantis reiterates it. Let's put up the second slide. Justin, POTUS confirms to Governor Ron DeSantis that the federal government will approve Florida's request to use Florida National Guardsmen as immigration judges. So Governor Ron DeSantis was pissed that the federal government was paying people to stay at the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. That was under the Biden administration. So instead of our taxpayer dollars paying for Alcatraz, Governor Ron DeSantis said, no, the federal government's going to pay for this. Federal government's going to pay for this, and we're going to approve Florida's request to use Florida National Guardsmen as immigration judges. That's what's going to happen, guys. And he said Pam Bondi will approve, our Attorney General. And as you know, Pam Bondi was the Florida Attorney General. So Pam and Ron worked very well together in Florida. But I can tell you, this couldn't have been done without President Trump in the White House. This couldn't have been done without Thomas Homan, Kristi Noem, and without Governor Ron DeSantis working with all of them. Kristi Noem said, the governor, he worked with us right away. He called us. And people asked him, the media asked, President Trump, how's your relationship with the governor? And he's like, it's good. He's like, we're good friends. He's like, we have some discrepancies, not really happy that he ran against me for president. And we may not agree in the future on things. I hope we do. But right now we have a good relationship. And Ron DeSantis, governor, he reemphasized that he actually endorsed President Trump in January 2024, and that he made sure that a lot of his PAC money went to President Trump, that millions of dollars went to President Trump in January 2024. So you can see that they're amicable. And I don't know if you guys watched it, but I did watch President Trump come down the airplane, meet Governor DeSantis on the tarmac, and they were very cordial towards each other. They were smiling. They were happy. And it looked like a kumbaya session. I don't think it was for the cameras. Whoever told my governor to run for president was stupid. Whoever advised him to do it was stupid. And it might have cost him the rest of his political career. Now, there's speculation that my governor may run for Senate in a couple of years because he's leaving in a year, I should say. January 2027, he's gone. He's term limited. So what's my governor going to do? Now, there's speculation that his wife is thinking of running for governor. President Trump has already endorsed Congressman Byron Donalds for governor. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough for her to beat that primary or beat Brian Donalds in a primary against President Trump's pick. A lot of people believe that Casey DeSantis was the reason why her husband ran for president. She was all about the power. And now she's running for governor. She wants power. People ask the First Lady of Florida, was it worth it? Was it worth it to hurt your husband's career? Was it worth it to push him to run against the guy that endorsed you? That if it wasn't for Trump's endorsement, your husband wouldn't be governor today. And that's the truth, because I lived it, I breathed it. So what's Governor DeSantis to do after he's done? Is his wife really thinking of running for governor? And are we going to hear from her? Is she going to praise President Trump? Is she going to embrace him like her husband did? But people's true colors really came out when my governor ran for president. People that I never thought would back this decision or approve of this decision. I was very shocked. And I was very against my governor running for president. I told him and I told his advisors not to have him run. I said, this will ruin his career. It will wreck him. But he did it anyway. I blame the political consultants that advised him to do it. I blame special interests and lobbyists that pushed him to do it. Remember, I have a beef with special interests and lobbyists. They control the power of the purse in DC. They are not wise. They hurt people's careers. They really do. And then going into the third slide with Nick Sorter breaking. He said, President Trump confirms Florida will be using National Guardsmen as immigration judges. Every state should do this. And again, I agree. I agree with this. Again, Governor Ron DeSantis does not want we, the taxpayers, paying for this. Not at all. And then the fourth segment, Eric Daughtry breaking. He writes, POTUS and Governor DeSantis say it is time to redo the census before the 2026 midterms and only count Americans, not illegals. Governor DeSantis said California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. Now, there's questions whether the president can do this or not. It has to do with the Census Committee. And I agree with this because in 2020, the census was completely screwed. Florida was supposed to gain a couple seats in the census, so was Texas, and California wasn't supposed to gain as many as they did. And I agree that if they do change the census, it will flip a lot more seats from D to R. But the question is, can they do this? Can they do this before the midterms? It's going to be very tough. It's a constitutional thing at this point. You have to look into the Constitution to see if they can do this. But again, all states should be forming an Alcatraz. All states should be wanting illegal criminals, American criminals into the Alcatraz, but also anybody that commits a heinous crime. Instead of illegals waiting for years to go on trial because they're going to be out scot-free, and that will give them more reason to kill more innocent Americans. What Governor Ron DeSantis is doing in other Republican states is they're holding these illegals in these centers so that they're not going to be walking down the streets freely. And again, the process should not take years and years and years. The process should be a very short process. It should be a very short process. I don't understand why illegal criminals get to hang out for years and years and years, living off our system, having the taxpayers pay for them, and we have to wait for years for them to go on trial and for the judge or the jury to decide their fate. It's disgusting and asinine. Disgusting. But again, we're going to have to see what happens. And I push and emphasize the Democrat governors to do an Alcatraz in their state. Again, they go against President Trump's executive orders, they will be prosecuted. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking about making America healthy again. That'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. One of the biggest things that I love is making America healthy again with our new HHS Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. What has this man done? Well, he is getting rid of all of the synthetic colors and dyes out of our food. As you know, I've talked about it in our skincare and our hair care. I am a big proponent of this. I can tell you that my skin has never looked better. I've lost weight from not eating things with artificial dyes and colorings. You look at M&Ms, you look at Reese's Pieces, you look at Hershey's, you look at Doritos, you look at Smuckers. They all have artificial colors and dyes, which makes we the people obese. That's why when you go to Europe, the food there is so fresh and so clean. When I went to Italy for 2 weeks, I lost a tremendous amount of weight because I wasn't eating all these artificial colors and dyes. They don't have it in their food. And I know that RFK Jr., he wants the food here in America to be like the food in Europe, where it's clean and it's healthy. So we'll kick it to the first slide, what Senator Kenney wants to do. So Senator Kenney said he's glad to see that Smuckers is, as you know, our jelly, is removing synthetic dyes from their products by the end of 2027. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why aren't they ending it now? Why are they waiting till 2027? Well, I'll be honest, it takes a long time. I've been to these factories. It's not easy. It's not hop, skip, and a jump. It takes a long time for them to weed out all of these artificial colors and dyes because they have to take it out of their entire factory. They also have to take it out of every single product that's in Smuckers. So it's the jelly, it's the peanut butter, it's everything that Smuckers owns. So yeah, it is going to take some time. I agree. It shouldn't take 2 years, but we can start to eat some of the things now that are clean, such as fruits and vegetables. RFK Jr. said if you can grow a lot of the plants in your garden, great. I know a lot of farmers, they have pumpkin patches, they have they grow their own peanuts, they grow watermelon, they grow apples, they grow carrots. I mean, 'tis the season. If you can do it, great. When I lived in Israel, I had fresh basil waiting for me as I was getting up in the morning. I had fresh thyme. I had fresh basil. I mean, if you can grow some of those things in your own garden, do it. That's the best way. If you can make fresh extra virgin olive oil, do it. If you can make fresh wine, do it. Anything fresh is better for you. Also with the water, you have to be very careful now with the water. A lot of the water, especially the tap water, has a lot of pollutants. I personally don't drink tap water anymore. I know they say that New York City has the best tap water in the country. That's fake news. It's a faux pas. It's not. There's a lot of pollutants. Baltimore County, their water is atrocious because they're dealing with Back River. And Back River is literally, they call it the crap plant because there's so many pollutants. You can't even swim or fish in Back River. It's disgusting over there. Baltimore City, too. They've had issues with E. coli poisoning in the water. I do believe that Back River has hexavalent chromium in their water. I've been trying to get Aaron Brockovich to come to Back River to prove it. But we also have a brand new EPA director, Congressman Lee Zeldin, who I've been trying to bring to Maryland as well to take a look at the water and do some tests on the water. The water is like I said, it's atrocious. You do not want to drink your tap water. So what kind of water do you drink? So I personally drink water with alkaline and electrolytes. It's the best. It's the cleanest. It's the safest. Now, a lot of people say you shouldn't be drinking stuff from a plastic bottle. So if you can, try to get like a hard container bottle and drink water from there. So you're pouring your electrolyte, your alkaline water into a hard case water bottle, and you're drinking from there, and it's actually better for you. I'm also a big proponent of drinking Gatorade, Powerade, all that stuff has electrolytes. But again, drink the clear Gatorade, stay away from the artificial colors and dyes that are in Powerade and Gatorade because they have a lot of sodium in it, which can also make you fat. So you want to stay away from anything with high sodium, high calorie, high carb, high sugar. And I can tell you that Smucker's jelly has a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of sugar. That's why I don't eat it. If I can eat all natural jelly, like freshly made jelly, like if you go to an Amish markets are the best. They make everything fresh. They make the butter fresh. They make the jelly fresh. They make the peanut butter fresh. I always go to the Amish market, or what they call the farmer's market. Best food there. No synthetic colors or dyes. And also the produce is cheaper as opposed to going to grocery stores such as Giant or Kroger's or Meijer's or Safeway. You don't know what the heck is going on in that grocery store. You don't know what you're getting. But if you can get stuff from a farmer's market, you're going to be golden. My mother buys all of her stuff from a farmer's market, from an Amish market. Oh my God, like day and night. I mean, my family, they've lost a significant amount of weight just from not eating all of these things that have preservatives in them. And then this just in, second slide. Now, even Hershey is dropping artificial dyes from all of their snacks. Now, I just went to Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, and I made my own chocolate there, and they gave me, Hershey's Kisses and Reese's Pieces and all of this stuff, and it, had synthetic colors and artificial dyes in it. Not anymore, but again, they're not going to be able to weed all of the artificial dyes and coloring from their food until 2026, 2027. So people are a little upset about that because they want to start eating healthy. They want to start eating, better. My advice to you is you can start eating healthy now. Again, fruits and vegetables, things that are made in the ground, fresh apples, figs, pears, watermelon, cantaloupe, carrots, cucumbers, pineapple is really good for you. Zucchini, eggplant. These are things that are grown. Stay away from the junk food. Stay away from the junk food right now, because the issue is that the junk food, as we know, has a lot of artificial colors and dyes. So stay away from it right now. Stay away from the Burger King. Stay away from the McDonald's. Stay away from the Taco Bells. Stay away from anything that has artificial dyes, preservatives. Again, this is not Europe. They say in Europe and even in the Middle East, the French fries are much better because they don't use hydrogenized oil. They use extra virgin olive oil in their fries, and they don't deep fry it. It makes a big difference, guys. It makes a big difference. So if we can all just eat healthy, have some nice protein in your diet, such as tofu, have a piece of fish with low mercury, have chicken, steak. It's good to eat a piece of red meat once in a while. You don't have to eat it all the time, but it's good to eat a piece of meat. You need to have iron. I have friends that are on the all meat diet. All they do is eat meat all day, and they've lost a tremendous amount of weight. And don't forget to eat your vegetables. Don't forget to eat broccoli. Don't forget to eat string beans, cauliflower. Again, I mentioned zucchini, squash. These are all really good things. It's good to have a little bit. You can have a little bit of carbs, such as brown rice. I don't recommend white rice. It's too sticky. It's too fatty on the body. Brown rice is very good. You can have a little bit of what we call legumes. You can have some white kidney beans. You can have lentils. Lentils are very good. I love lentil soup. I'm a big fan of lentil soup. You can also have a little bit of saffron rice. It's yellow rice. They eat it in Spain. It's not as high carb as like white sticky rice. Stay away from like white sticky rice, jasmine rice. It's all very sticky. It's all very fatty. Brown rice all the way if you can. If you go to an Asian place and eat sushi, try to eat the low sodium soy. Try to have, you can have a little bit of ginger, a little bit of wasabi. It's actually good for the digestion, but try not to eat all the rice. Try to eat brown rice. Try to eat some soups. I personally don't eat pasta. I used to eat pasta all the time. It goes right to my body, right to my hips, right to my behind. So I eat tofu noodles now. Tofu noodles is very thin noodles, low carb, low calorie, low sugar. And you can doctor it up. You can doctor it up with olive oil, with garlic powder, with onion powder, with a little bit of basil, rosemary. You can do all of that. It's very, very, very good. Very, very, very good. I love eating stuff that I can just make on my own and then just use what they call non-synthetic color or dye seasonings. Garlic powder is healthy for you. Onion powder, cinnamon is very good for you. They say basil, rosemary, thyme, all those things are natural. very natural ingredients. But guys, it's very important. It's very important that we look what's in our food, that we see what's in our food, that you have to understand that RFK Jr. was put into this role to make our country healthy again. And people are very happy about it. As I've told you before, I only use hair care that has no synthetic colors or dyes. That's why I use the Virtue hair care line. It's one of the only hair care lines that is completely clean. They have no sulfates, no parabens, no phthalates, animal cruelty-free, vegan-friendly, gluten-free. And they have alpha keratin 60KU, which is their own technology. It's their own branding that they made in a lab. Keratin is pure protein. We as human beings, we deplete all of these things out of our body. We deplete keratin. We deplete glutathione. We deplete all of these things. We deplete niacinamide, niacin. What man has done has created products so that you can put all of those beautiful things back into your body to stop the aging process, but also to help your hair, to help your face, etc. So it's very important. It's very important that we know what's in our food. We know what's in our food, but also what's in our hair products and what's in our skincare. Because if we don't, then we're just going to keep doing the same old over and over and over again. So I'm so happy that so many people are on the train with RFK Jr. here. And it's a bipartisan thing. I have Democrats that I was told that love this, independents. But remember, we have a lot of vegans and vegetarians that are Democrats. A lot of them voted for Trump, actually, in 2024. There's a group called Vegans for Trump, tree huggers for Trump. I think it's hysterical. I love it because it's important. I'm glad that people are taking care of their health. And also, exercise is the key, too. Don't forget, exercise is the key. You must do a little bit of cardio every single day, and you must do weights every day. It's very, very important. Very important that we do weights all the time, that you go on a treadmill if you can, or just take a walk around the neighborhood. Again, we're in the hot of summer. It's very important to protect your skin. As you notice, I don't have a lot of sun damage, sunspots on my chest area or my neck, Baruch Hashem, thank God, because I take care of my skin, because I'm putting non-chemical sunscreen on my chest, on my décolleté, on my body, zinc oxide, titanium oxide, all the way. It keeps the skin looking nice and fresh. That's what's important. My dermatologist told me to do this. Remember, I use that line tinted, has 9.5% titanium dioxide in their products. Blue Lizard is 24% zinc oxide. It's an SPF of 50. My dermatologist told me to use it. There's also a brand called Naked Sundays, SPF 50. It's all zinc and titanium dioxide. Don't use anything with avobenzonone, oxasolate, octinoxate, homosolate. Those are all chemical sunscreens. And you have to reapply every 15 to 30 minutes, and you will start to get bumps on your skin. But if you want your skin fresh and clean and pure, like mine, and I'm not trying to boast, and I'm a Floridian. I stayed out of the beach. I stayed out of the sun, and I grew up near a beach. But it's very important, guys, that you keep this area looking nice. So how are you going to do that? You're going to put non-chemical sunscreens on this area, on this area, on this area, on this area, so you don't have brown spotting. So you don't have damage or sun damage. So again, you can use Blue Lizard, the brand tinted, or Naked Sundays. And Blue Lizard also has a spray too. These are things that will help you guys later on in the end. And also, don't forget your fruits. Don't forget your berries, your strawberries, your blueberries, your blackberries, prunes, dates, figs. Everybody should be having that in their body. Fiber, fiber, fiber is what my gastro doctor always says. Fiber helps you lose weight. Fiber helps you with your bowels. Fiber helps you with your digestive system. I also stopped taking Prilosec and Pepcid AC. I actually was listening to an interview with Senator Ron Johnson, how he said that he suffered from acid reflux, which I do as well. And he said the Prilosec and the Zantac and the Nexium actually made his heartburn worse, or he he didn't feel any relief, or his reflux worse. I can tell you, I didn't feel relief from it either. And it takes like 24 to 48 hours to kick in anyway. So he recommended HC1 betaine, which has yeast in it. He said, we as human beings, we naturally deplete yeast out of our body. We have this natural yeast in our body. We need that yeast back into our bodies to stop the reflux. And he's 100% correct. Now, as an opera singer, I have to be careful with the reflux and the heartburn because it ruins my voice. If I have very bad heartburn or reflux, it's very hard to sing. So I switched from HC1 betaine. It's actually a fat blocker because it's an amino acid. And my heartburn, Baruch Hashem, isn't as bad as it used to be. I can tell you that it has worked. I have been using it for about a couple months now. I've lost weight from it as well because it's a fat blocker, because it's reducing all of that acid that I had down here. So if you have acid reflux or heartburn, I recommend you stop taking Prilosec, stop taking what your your gastroenterologist recommends. And my gastro doctor will kill me for saying this, but I don't care. I saved myself from, not getting an endoscopy. I thought I needed an endoscopy because I was having very bad heartburn. Instead of getting an endoscopy, I went the other route. I'm taking a dietary supplement called HC1 betaine. And guess what? I don't have to get an endoscopy. I saved myself. I saved myself from going under that procedure. But I can tell you that my heartburn and my reflux have reduced significantly from using HC1 betaine. So these are little things that doctors don't tell you about. And Ron Johnson's not a doctor. But it's good to know, to hear it from somebody that has issues. There's also something called glucotrim out there for people with diabetes. It reduces your blood sugar significantly. It's a supplement. You can get it at GNC. Instead of going to your primary care or going to your gastroenterologist and then putting you on a bunch of pills. It's actually a more healthier way than using metformin. If you use metformin, I recommend you take glucotrim. You will lose 12 pounds in 2 weeks. You take 2 pills for the first week, and then you take 4 pills for the next 4 weeks. Now, if you have chronic migraines or headaches, I wouldn't recommend it because it has a little bit of something called chromium in it. Chromium can actually cause headaches, or it can actually cause your migraines to suffer more. Also, if you are a person that is trying to lose weight and you want to take supplements, such as myself, don't take any stimulants. I noticed that when I took stimulants, my migraines were massive. I would get like a really bad migraine, like right here, like right smack in the middle, and I couldn't get rid of it. It was like all day migraine. And I had to go on other brain medication for a few days because the headache was pounding. So I recommend, if you're going to take any supplements to help you lose weight, do it without stimulants, which means no caffeine. Make sure there is no caffeine in your supplements. If it says caffeine in it, it's going to give you a massive migraine. Taking mass amounts of caffeine does not help your migraines. Taking that Excedrin with caffeine, because I used to take it, does not help your migraines, makes them worse. Just take a regular Aleve, Advil, Tylenol, ibuprofen, or don't take anything at all if you can, but don't take any supplements with stimulants in it. It will wreck your head. Just some things I've learned along the way. But these are also things that RFK Jr. has taught me. These are also things that have helped me lose weight. So I thank RFK Jr. for taking out all these artificial synthetic dyes from the food, from our hair, etc., and keep up the great work. And I'm telling you, if you guys follow his Make America Healthy Again plan, you will be healthier, you'll lose weight, you'll feel better about yourself, your skin will never look better, you'll feel better. Your hair will grow faster. You'll feel better as a person. Please, guys, please pay attention to all these artificial dyes that are in your food now, because it does make a difference when they are out. Coming up after the break, talking about President Trump, the power of him and the power of his pen. And I'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello again, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network, segment 3, FAFO. Fuck around and find out. That's right. You fuck with President Trump, you're out of here. And I don't mean a curse, but President Trump came up with that concept because it is a real concept, and he is tired of, again, the grandstanders. I can't even say the word because of my accent. The grandstanding in the Republican Party. And there are so many rhinos still in Congress that need to get the hell out because they are detriments to our nation. Also, the squad needs to get the hell out of Congress. We need proper people to primary them out, and we need Republicans to beat their asses. But again, I challenge APAC and people that have a lot of money, even Republican billionaires, to do everything they can to make sure that these Democrats don't stay in power. I've called upon billionaire Rob Kraft, billionaire Bill Ackman, to put together groups to remove these socialist Democrats. They have the money to do it. AIPAC has the money to do it too. And people tell me, don't say AIPAC because they're run by the Jews. We have the Republican Jewish Coalition as well that's run by Jews. They only endorse people that they feel can win. These people have money as well. So it's on both sides of the aisle. And there's Christian organizations too that have loads of money that can primary out these rhinos. It is time to get the rhinos, not just out of the federal level, but out of the state and local level as well, because they're also detriments to our nation. Remember, politics is local. That's been said many times. In the Democrat Party, we have these socialists that start out as mayors, county councilmen, state delegates, and they end up becoming county executives, and then they become congressmen. We have a Democrat socialist mayor in Baltimore City, Brandon Scott. We have a Democrat socialist, as far as I'm concerned, Johnny Oshevsky is a congressman. But what was he before? He was just a school teacher. Then he became a delegate. Then he became county executive. And I guess the people just didn't pay attention. And now we have a Democrat nominee for mayor of New York, a Democrat socialist, this anti-Jew, anti-American mofo. The fact he even got in is horrible. He's like halfway there. Thank God that President Trump has stepped up and said, I will never have a Democrat socialist take over New York. He even said, we will never be a socialist nation. That's why he had to win this election. We don't have socialism on the federal level. We need to not have socialism on the local level, because once these idiots get in, you cannot get them out. And President Trump said he will work every single day to make sure that this Democrat socialist, Mahmoud Mamdani, whatever the hell his name is, get in as the mayor of New York, because he will ruin New York City. Jews will have to leave New York City and come to Florida because they will have no other place to live. And Governor DeSantis said, I'm waiting for a mass influx. Because remember, when de Blasio was there, he called for all these New York police officers to move down to Florida. Then when Kathy Hochul got in there as governor, there was a mass exodus of law enforcement down to Florida from New York. So if this Democrat gets in as mayor of New York, there's going to be another mass exodus of people coming down to Florida. Just leave your liberal politics behind. But the point is, this guy shouldn't even be in contention to be the next mayor. It's disgusting. Why? Why would the people of New York vote for this and allow this guy to be the Democrat nominee? He's a piece of crap. Please, I say this to the Jewish people especially, do not vote for this mofo. Don't listen to Chuck Schumer. He's an a-hole. Chuck Schumer could care less about being Jewish. He's hashtag not my Jew, hashtag never a Jew, hashtag not a true Jew. He's a fraud, and everybody knows it. The fact that this Mohammed guy was backed by AOC and Bernie Sanders and the squad tells you something. The things that he wants to do to New York, he wants full government control of your life. New Yorkers should not put up with this. And I know that Governor Cuomo and Eric Adams are working together to make sure that this idiot doesn't get in. There's been calls for the Republican nominee, Chris Silva, to step down and work with Eric Adams and work with Governor Cuomo. They'd rather have Eric Adams in there than this mofo. Eric Adams is actually willing to work with Thomas Homan and President Trump. This mofo won't. Do you like watching the burnings of innocent people on New York subways? Do you like to watch innocent New York citizens get murdered and pummeled? Do you want another 9/11 there? Don't put this guy in. Haven't you hashtag had enough? And I know that America has hashtag had enough. So let's put up the first slide of who's retiring, thanks to President Trump. Retiring, Don Bacon of Nebraska, District 2. He's a rhino, moron. He voted for so many Democratic things. Tom Tillis, he just decided to retire because he voted no for the One Big Beautiful Bill. And President Trump warned him with his power. And he said, because of you, because of what you did, I'm already taking applications and I'm going to primary you the hell out. And whoever I endorse is going to beat your ass. And Tom Tillis knew at that point he couldn't win re-election. So he said, I'm done. Peace. Mitch McConnell, big rhino, hurt Donald Trump a lot, especially in 2020. Didn't stand with him, didn't stand by him, threatened President Trump, said, if you don't get out, I'll cut off your Secret Service. I'll cut off the Secret Service of your children. He's retiring. And the guy's senile anyway. And then in huge trouble, Senator John Cornyn of Texas, he is so down in the polls against the Attorney General, Ken Paxton. I hope Ken Paxton wins. He's amazing. Ken Paxton's actually up, I think, like 56% of the vote. That is the Trump effect right then and there. That is the power of POTUS. And I love it. I say to the American people, it took one man to have these rhinos retire, or it took one man to possibly have John Cornyn be retired when Ken Paxton beats his ass. I say to the constituents, you can be a Donald Trump. You can force the retirement of these rhinos that have hurt your city, that have hurt your district, that have hurt your state, as well as Democrats. But President Trump is the head of the Republican Party. You cannot keep going against him. There's these central committees that keep going against President Trump. You couldn't even talk about President Trump for 10 years. You couldn't even mention his name. They laughed at you. One lady said to me, oh, it'd be okay if Kamala Harris won because we would control the Congress and Kamala Harris wouldn't get anything done. It's like, are you kidding me? You're a Republican saying this? And then you have rhinos in very hardcore conservative districts that vote against the will of the people. And the people don't know this because these rhinos come into their restaurants, they come into their bars, and they chat them up and everything sounds good. One guy says he's a pastor, puts a blessing on your head, blesses you, and then votes against you. He puts a blessing on your head and he votes for illegals to have health care. He puts a blessing on your head and votes for the biggest tax hike in the state. He puts a blessing on your head and then he votes for state-funded abortions. He puts a blessing on your head and then votes to expand Obamacare. Does that sound like someone who cares about you? Does that sound like a Republican to you? Does that sound like the values that your constituents thrive on and want? Or he puts a blessing on your head and goes and votes for Section 8 housing. Doesn't care that it's by a VA hospital. Doesn't care that it's by history. Doesn't care that there's a bunch of homeless veterans out there and that they're suffering and they want the rezoning to be kaput. But this is someone that calls himself a Republican in a very hardcore Republican conservative district. Again, get these people out of office. You have so-called Republicans that have a lot of baggage, going in and out of rehab, getting divorced, not showing up at parades, not showing up at events, not showing up at council meetings, looking terrible, that person should really stay home and reflect and take care of themselves and not run again and have a heart attack in office. I implore those people that are in their, up there in age, but also that their health isn't doing well. It's really more about your health because, as you know, President Trump is 79. His health is amazing. There are 60 to 7-year-old to 80-year-old men that are in great shape, and they have cognitive abilities are still functioning. They don't have dementia or Alzheimer's, unlike Joe Biden. But there are people in very conservative districts that their health is failing them, and they continue to run. But it's you, the constituents, that now can take that power, can use your power. And in a nice way, just tell the delegate, tell the county councilman, tell someone from the central committee, tell your governor, your mayor, maybe you should sit this one down. Tell this guy running for Congress for the 4th time, then maybe it's time you step down. Give it to someone else. Be a mentor for that person. Stop running just to run. Again, what point do you have to prove at this point? And also, if you're a Republican that keeps voting with Democrats, switch your party. Switch your party, don't be a Republican, or retire. And I think a lot of these rhinos, they vote Democrat because they're on their way out the door. Or they just don't give a damn. Or they say, well, I live in a Democrat state, doesn't matter anyway. But when you call yourself a Republican and your entire delegation tells you not to vote for the biggest tax hike in the state's history and you do it anyway, let's say that about you. You should retire at that point because you just hurt your constituents. I can tell you in the state of Maryland, that started today, it started yesterday, July 1st. They got hit with the biggest tax hike. There was one Republican in the entire delegation that voted for it. Or I should say in the delegation, not in the state senate, in the delegation. You can thank that Republican for that every time you're suffering. Every time you see that your vehicle registration is going up, your gas is going up, etc. He knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name. But he really hurt the people of Maryland. He should retire. He doesn't look good either. He even said on TV he had 3 shots of the vaccine. He ended up in the hospital 3 times. He's on blood thinners as a result. The vaccines took a toll on him. He almost died from them. But he still encouraged people to take them, even though he almost died from them. But he continues to vote against the will of the people. You can't have people like that in office. It's time to step down. It is time to retire. And there's people that have more power than that man that will use their positions of power and the contacts that they have and know to make sure they retire. That's why I said we can all be President Trumps and be powerful and remove these rhinos from office. Again, I applaud President Trump. I applaud him for using his power to push these rhinos out. And then we have a second scandal. Holy smokes. This is our second slide of the night. Holy smokes. Border Czar Thomas Homan has now confirmed that AOC is being federally investigated for employing a criminal illegal alien on her staff and teaching them how to evade ICE. Huge development. Now let's see results. Is she going to be tried and prosecuted? I really hope so. She employed a criminal illegal alien on her staff and taught him how to evade ICE. That's illegal. We cannot poo-poo this. This is a big thing. This is a big story. If they let this go, good Lord. I mean, Governor Patrick Murphy, he claimed that he was hiding an illegal in his house. Whether that was true or false, whether you just said that to get a clickbait, I mean, that's stuff that needs to be seriously investigated. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's very important that these things get investigated thoroughly. AOC should be going to jail for this. There's reports that there may be state delegates that took money from illegals that own businesses. That's illegal. We're investigating that now as we speak. Just because you're a congressman or senator doesn't make you above the law. Remember, they said nobody's above the law. President Trump's not above the law. Well, neither are you, mofos. Neither are you. You took an oath. You took a constitutional oath. You must uphold that constitutional oath. You must uphold it. Because if not, get out. Seriously, get out. I'm so sick and tired of these people getting away with it. And I think the majority of the country are tired of it too. They really are. Because it's so bad. If those people get away with breaking the law, then I guess it's acceptable for everyone, right? But rules for me and not for thee. So AOC, you can break the law. Nothing happens to you. Criminal illegal aliens can break the law. Oh, no, they shouldn't go to jail. Come on now. I really hope that she gets prosecuted here. I hope that the congresswoman in New Jersey who was combating ICE, I hope she goes to jail. She broke the law. Remember what they said, nobody is above the law. Nobody. Well, this has been a great hour, everybody. We will, again, keep you updated on the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill. I can tell you that President Trump wants to have this on his desk by July 4th. He wants to sign it, put it into law. Again, you can read a lot of the things that has been put into this bill. Like I said, I know a lot of people wish that it was a better bill, but you have to look at the majority of the things that are in there, the majority of the things that President Trump put into this bill. It is helping the average American, is helping we the people. And again, don't forget that we have another show called The Jersey Shore. It's on Monday nights from 8 to 9 p.m., as well as Friday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. A repeat of Damon Galdo's radio show will be on Fridays, and he will come on live and talk about it and tell you about the week. And don't forget, we have my friend, Popeye the Sailor Man, Seth Eisenberg, this Sunday coming up at the Seth Eisenberg, the Conservative Corner, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That's 7 to 8:30 p.m. every Sunday night. And we have The Pulse. Oh my God, I love The Pulse. The Pulse is great. We have some great hosts from The Pulse. That's every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. And also, everybody, have a great Independence Day weekend. I hope you guys are going to parades. I can tell you that I will be covering live the Dundalk Parade in Dundalk, Maryland. It is one of the oldest parades in the country. It is a 2.5 mile parade. I will be with Tim Fazenbaker. He is making a huge announcement. He will be running for higher office, and we will catch him live. We also have John Myrick and Brenda Chain, who are going to be at that parade. As you know, they're both running for governor and lieutenant governor in the state of Maryland. And we'll be talking to a lot of the constituents and a lot of the people in the Maryland area. I'll also be in Hagerstown as well, talking to elected official Sean Flaherty from the Hagerstown City Council and many other elected officials in Hagerstown, such as people on the Washington County Republican Central Committee. So it will be a whole day of coverage. And it will be great. And we're actually going to put a compilation together, and that will be shown on next Tuesday night's show next week. I will be going on vacation for 4th of July. I'm going to be spending some time with my family. But you will see on Tuesday night's show, it'll be a whole compilation of what I did this 4th of July. And I have to be in Dundalk at that parade at 7:15 in the morning on a Friday. Woohoo! Looking forward to it. So exciting. All day parades for me on Friday, all day parades, but I love it. I love doing it. And again, we will be covering the whole entire parade and the whole entire day. Again, don't forget to follow us at America's Pulse Network on Rumble, at America's Pulse Network on YouTube, at America's Pulse Network on True Social, at America's Pulse Network on Instagram, we're going on Facebook soon. We're on Parler now. We're on a bunch of, on X. And also, don't forget about our friends.
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.